give you regrets from Trustee Hutchins, who is unable to attend today. And I'll call the meeting to order. I squale CM na siatya, ana squalawan koana silam nala. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coatsan people. And I would like a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Trustee DeGroot, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to minutes of November 2nd, 2021 open board meeting. And a motion to adopt the minutes, please. Moved by Trustee DeGroot, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to recognition and delegations. And tonight we are special in that we have special people to welcome as a delegation. And the delegation is from Coheman Elementary, which was the recipient of a Roots and Shoots 30th Anniversary Global Award from the Jane Goodall Institute. And I'll just wait for them to join us. Hello, Coheman. So the Board of Education would like to recognize Coheman Elementary as the recipient of a Roots and Shoots 30th Anniversary Global Award from the Jane Goodall Institute for their Indigenous Garden. Coheman's Indigenous Garden was selected as the winner of this international award due to the thoughtful way in which it connects students so closely with nature and with the history of the land while highlighting the interdependence of plants, animals, and humans. The team from Coheman's Elementary involved with the Indigenous Garden includes Maria Tarasoff, Mary Dawn McWatt, Darlene Sylvester, Bobby Gabrielle, Mike Ray, and Julie Conroy. Thanks for attending tonight. We really appreciate that. And of course, along with them is their principal, Jennifer McCalbury. We are, thanks, Jen. We are tremendously proud of the staff and students at Coheman Elementary. This beautiful project started with our dedicated educators who continue to think of meaningful projects while intertwining them with our continued path on our reconciliation journey. Congratulations on this well-deserved award. We are proud of the work that you do and your dedication to our students, your school, and your community. Thank you for joining for here tonight. And congratulations on the award. Is there anything that you would like to say back to us?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. But we're gonna have to listen to here.
I just wanted to say that we really appreciated that the district saw the importance of our project when it was just in its early planning stages last year. And I know Jen put a lot of her, herself into it and told people who came from the district what the vision was. And so as we were fundraising, it was really nice that the district just stepped in and supported it and made it happen in such a quick way at the end of the school year. It was really exciting for the students to see the transformation happening, the process happening. And then over the summer, we tended to the plants. And then when they came back this year, it was a solid foundation was in place. So, thanks so much to the district for recognizing that and putting up so much money to make it happen, because it wouldn't have happened yet. So in that way, it happened really quickly for us. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We're more than happy to help. And I understand our Director of Communications has a video of the presentation to share with us.
Good.
No, we can't hear you.
Mike?
Ah, here he comes.
Sorry, we can't hear.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
I do have a video to share here, like you said there. Let me just see if I can share screen. Yep, here we go. And share sound. All right.
I squeal. Hi tabga kasi tetzel at the kowits and tummel. Hi tab LFCM.
Big part of our Roots and Shoots project has given us a platform and a structure to deliver opportunities and connect students to the natural plants of our ecosystem and all the gifts they offer. Having the garden space immediately accessible to our students offers a lot of opportunities for them to connect to our local plant community and learn and grow together.
Because of my family traditions, I have a beautiful relationship with plants, and I understand the importance of listening to elders and knowledge keepers. From conversations about the garden, we learned that the traditional name for this area is Kualitlam, which means where the berries ripen first. Honoring local history and place has informed all aspects of the garden design. Having students work and learning with the plants and nature just feels right.
We give thanks to the people who cared for the land since time immemorial, and we give thanks to the students who will learn and grow as they care for the land in the years to come.
Tsiet to dot mistimo yet natamo kasi I hayal kach updates. And tsiet smanamst who tatalet yet tatamo. Hka.
We give thanks to the Jane Goodall Institute Global for recognizing the importance of this project.
Well, and Heichka for showing us all of the work. I know I did take the opportunity to walk in the Indigenous garden, and it's very delightful. Thank you. I can see how students and staff are drawn to it. So I think one of our special people at the board office has organized something for you with a card of appreciation from the board. And so I hope you'll be receiving that very soon. Thank you for coming tonight. And again, congratulations. Okay, so we're moving to item 5, report of closed meeting. Mr. Sandquist?
Thank you, Chair. Just prior to this open session, the board met in closed. They received a delegation from North Cowichan, received a staff report and a capital project update. The meeting was not concluded, and following the open session, the board will return to close for the balance of the agenda.
Thank you. Moving to old business action list. If you could bring that up, please, Secretary Treasurer. Is there anything that staff wishes to inform the board that is on the action list?
Nothing for me.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
Any questions from trustees? Okay, thank you. So we're moving to item 7, Chair of the Board. And the first is the Board Office Complex Winter Holiday Events. Just to make sure trustees know they are invited to the breakfast for our school district staff at the board office. And there are 4 servings, come to 1 or come to 4, however you like. They go from 7:45 a.m. to 10:40 in the morning on the last day of school, December the 17th. As you know, it's an event to celebrate and thank our staff at the board office complex. And it's usually not only good food, but it's also good fun. So I hope you'll take that opportunity. And while I'm acknowledging the wonderful staff we have at the school board office complex, I'd really like to extend that thanks to all of our staff, our teachers, our EAs, our bus drivers, our custodians, our principals, vice principals, our district staff, and other support staff that don't come within those categories. We are very lucky to have all of you. Your professionalism and commitment are stellar. Thank you for all you do for our kids, for each other, and for the community. And also, we wish you a wonderful holiday time. Moving to item 7.1.2, the board retreat. Thank you to all the trustees. It was wonderful to have every trustee there, as well as all of our district staff for attending our retreat on the board performance review last month. Gordon Lee, who was our facilitator, has sent us the information he presented, as well as his summary. It's good or great to know that we are functioning well as a board. The two areas we determined we wanted to continue to focus on are student achievement and Indigenous education. Gordon sent us some resources which we can review, and the review is scheduled for our board planning session in January 2022. Okay, now next item is the Cowichan Secondary School replacement. And just a reminder that Tuesday is our big day. Groundbreaking ceremony is at 2 p.m. and the Minister of Education, Jennifer Whiteside, is attending, which was a wonderful surprise for me that she accepted, but it's wonderful that she's coming. We'll also have hopefully the acting chief of Cowichan Tribe, Cindy Daniel, as well as other important members from the community, including all trustees, if you're available, and as well as our community leaders. So bring your hard hat, and hopefully you'll be able to engage with the ceremony. At 4 o'clock is a community presentation by Urban One and HCMA Architects to show the wonderful plans off to the community. And then I believe we're having a reception at 6 o'clock with Urban One and HCMA Architects. Any questions or comments on that topic? Okay, moving on then to item 7.1.4, Rotary Reads. Superintendent Gray and I met with representatives of the Rotary Club regarding their interest in starting a Rotary Members Reading to Elementary Students program in September 2022. It's happening in other school districts in the province, and they want to bring that into our community as well. We were very excited to have the Rotary Club offer to be more involved and to bring us more support for our students. So more on that to come. 7.1.5 is the Anti-Racism Committee. The committee did meet this month and had a long, good conversation around terms like racism, institutional racism, systemic racism, and race-based social injustice. Hard topics, and everyone was really impacted with the discussion, I think. The committee members seem very engaged and see this work as valuable. Kevin Lamoureux is a wonderful facilitator, and our own trustee Thorne has given the board a drum to honor and thank him. And I'm going to ask Claire to show us the drum, and perhaps trustee Thorne would like to say a few words.
I had to move to another room. I have all my grandchildren here, so I'm trying to evade them. I was so moved by the presentation that Kevin has done. I thought I was going to keep the drum. I really did. I loved it. But as he spoke, I stared at the drum and I realized that it has two sisters. And in the center, you see a black line representing racism. And as you look toward the bottom, you can see that the black line is spreading. So we're making a difference. The people that are involved in the meeting really have expressed concerns, looking for answers, and working as one is totally, to me, very rare. So I'm pleased to present Kevin with this drum from all of us, not just myself, but it's from everybody. That's all I can say, Candace. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Thorne, and we thank you for your artwork, your ability with your drum making, and for having the generosity to do that for us. Thank you. The next item is BCSTA Fall Academy, and I could talk about the pre-conference, which was very informative with Debbie Jeffrey of Finesk, Equity in Action, Joe Heslop, John Chenoweth, both on Indigenous education, and our own Denise Augustine, who really presented very well. Both Trustee Kemmler and I were in the audience, and we were very proud to acknowledge that she came from Cowichan Valley. Each delegate was given a book by an author artist from Haida Gwaii called The Little Hummingbird. I don't know if you can see it. It's a very famous Indigenous story, and came, I gather, from South America, and he brought it to life in this book. And it's about a little hummingbird who is caught in a wildfire in the forest with other animals. And as soon as he sees the fire, he goes to the pond and begins getting a drop of water and putting it on the fire. And the other animals are astounded and run away, or finally say to the little hummingbird, "Why are you doing that?" And the story goes from his famous saying, "I am doing what I can." And it's just a powerful statement about what each of us as individuals can do in whatever situation we need to mitigate. So the rest of the conference was attended by Trustee Croft and Trustee Thorne and Trustee Kemmler. Well, I'll turn to Trustee Kemmler to talk about the rest of the conference.
Well, it was really a really great experience to be there again. It was a little unnerving to begin with to be in person, but after you got over that, it was quite lovely. We had some really young speakers, both Friday and Saturday morning. On Friday morning, we had Natalie Panic, and she's a rocket scientist. And it just was very interesting to hear a young woman rocket scientist talking to us and what she'd overcome. And she was almost an astronaut, and then couldn't be one because she had a skin condition. But it was really, really a neat talk. You look her up, she was very intriguing. And then the next morning, we had an Anne Mokosinski. And I don't think if she was 21, do you think maybe Trustee Croft? Yeah. And she was a student inventor, and she talked about how she participated in science fairs and moved through her high school years being this inventor, and, you know, the ups and downs and the resilience. And again, really, really heartwarming and really inspirational. Our students have got so much opportunity in the world today. It's just very exciting. We had the minister, Jennifer, I've lost her name, but our minister speak to us. Then we had a concurrent sessions, which was done really interesting, not like we've had before. So it was a bit noisy and a bit crazy, but we had policy, we had a session on surplus and financial reporting. But you know, Jason, it's pretty good because we'd actually heard it before. You make it so clear. I could even follow the speaker. It was wonderful. Leadership management standards, strategies to meet our goals before our mandate ends, and then a couple others. So that was very interesting in the afternoon. When we closed on Saturday morning, Jennifer Charlesworth, the BC's representative for children and youth, their advocate, was speaking to us, and she is in charge of the investigations of significant injury or death to children in care. And it was extremely moving. It was a high level of information. She highlighted a beautiful young girl, Sky, who was in our care, ministry's care, who died. And she highlighted that journey. And she gave us a graph of how many children, and I didn't write down the number, but I'm thinking, if I remember, it was 1,800 last year that were significantly injured or died in our ministry's care. What came of it is belonging. If children and youth and people in general feel they belong, they have much more resiliency and able to cope. Our First Nations contingent, Trustee Thorne, helped lead a song at the end, because it was a very, very heavy way to end our conference. But it was also a real strong way to come home. We need to hold our children dear, and we need to carry on fostering a sense of belonging in all our youth, not just our children in care, but in all our youth. So it was really amazing. It was a really good educational experience. And I thank you for letting me go for the experiences.
Thank you, Trustee Kemmler. And of course, our own Trustee Thorne had a major role at the conference. And so I'd like him to tell you about that. Trustee Thorne.
It was my first time helping organize an academy. Now we're working on the AGM. But as Trustee Kemmler had explained, it was very interesting, very moving. And I was proud to see that First Nations took main stage, and that really resonated with me. But what I've learned, especially talking with Jennifer, I had dinner with her, that 42% on reserve have high school diplomas, 48 off reserve for our provinces, only at 48. How much work we have to do, talking about the adult dogwood versus the dogwood, talking about our children here, and soon to be announced, we will be partnering with Jennifer's group to work on children in care. That hasn't been announced yet. And I was so proud of everybody in the Indigenous Education Committee. And I was so proud of people in the audience that they were very, very receptive and very, very responsive. I have nothing but praise for the way it went. I know I did, as Trustee Kemmler said, doing 6 presentations with divided walls where you could hear the speakers in the next room was very challenging. But I was highly impressed, and I think a lot of good will come out of that for everybody at large. Now we're getting ready for it. That was open the door to the 2022 AGM, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, that would then take us into the board contacts and liaisons. I'm going to go directly to 7.1.8 because I know what to do about that one, the Vista branch structure, and just give you a short update. Our Vista branch, we met on the Saturday morning, 7:30 or something crazy like that over breakfast. I eat more breakfast at these conferences than I do any other time. It was a very quick meeting. And we did ask for 3 motions to be put forward to the AGM. And one motion was that BCSTA consider ways to include student voice in the work of the association. And that was passed unanimously. So it's been sent on to the BCSTA. And a motion for district number 64 that BCSTA will advocate with the BC Ministry of Education and the Canadian School Board Association to call on the federal government to fund and implement Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada calls to action number 10. Then that motion was modified, and I have to apologize, I did not write down the modification, and they added some other actions. I think there was 3 or 4 others. Do you, Trustee Thorne, did you remember which ones?
I think it had to do with the Gulf Islands recommendation that they have an advisory, a First Nations advisory committee. I think that's what was added. I'm not too sure what else other than the youth.
Anyway, it was definitely accepted and passed unanimously. And as well that we raise our fee from the boards to cover the association's cost to $200 a year. And that could be changed as needed. And recommended that we check out the speaker series through Nanaimo. I guess if you go on Nanaimo's website, they've got a speaker series, so it's pretty effective. So then I can go back to board contacts and liaisons. In your package is the list of all our contacts and liaisons. Hopefully we've had a chance to look at them. Does any trustees have any concerns? Oh, thank you. Any concerns with what they see there, or any considerations that we need to take away? No concerns? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Trustee Spilsbury, for doing that and helping get that all together. It's a big job. Looked like a big puzzle. Next, we're on to the superintendent of schools.
Thank you very much, Trustee Kemmler. If I could ask Claire Spencer to bring in our new facilities manager, Blair Higgs. So I welcome Blair, and hopefully he can share his, there he is. There's Blair. And Blair is our new facilities manager, and he started as of November the 8th. And so you can see that he's almost 1 month in. So he is absolutely knowledgeable about the entire district. We welcome him. We look forward to having him, because I have to say that he was the assistant manager of building maintenance with the Greater Victoria School District number 61. And he held that role for 2 years. And then prior to that, he was the assistant manager. Prior to the assistant manager role, he was an electrician, a capital electrician with SD 61. And he also ran his own contracting company on Pender Island. So we're very excited to have Blair. And so Blair, you have now been introduced to our Board of Education, and we're very happy to have you with us in the Cowichan Valley School District. So welcome to you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
That's all we need from you tonight, Blair. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Good to meet you.
All right, well, I will move on to my next item, which is graduation rates 8.2.1. And I know that our Secretary Treasurer has a bit of a short slideshow for the board this evening, because as much as the board was talking about how do we support our learners and how do we support our Indigenous learners, we certainly have some more information to share. It's not quite sharing the way it should. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. So what we want to share with you this evening is at a very high level, our 6-year completion rates. We're definitely trending in a positive direction. And so what I want to do is show that with the sustained efforts, we can have some improvement over time. And I really want to raise my hands to the Board of Education for much of the work that they've done, but also our staff and all of our educators in the school. And so if you'd like to move to the next slide, Jason. Right here is a graph of the 6-year completion rates of all students. And you can see that it's a slight trend upward. And then I know that there's a next slide, Jason, with the one slide that shows that here is our last 5 years. So from 2016 to 2017, we have a slight trend upward of 2020 to 2021. And so I think when we look at our data, we're always looking for that trend that goes upward. We always know there's going to be a different cohort of learners that take us down maybe a notch or move us up a little bit more, but overall what we want to see is a trend upward. So the next slide is our 6-year completion rate for our Indigenous students. And so this is not broken up into off reserve or on reserve, but rather what it's showing us since 2016, we had a 48.9% graduation rate. And as we move forward, and the next slide, Jason, I want to share with the board that we've had a 10% increase from last year's graduation rates of a 6-year completion. And so when you take that trend line, which is that green dotted line, you really see that we are moving upward. And I think we had a great jump, and you can see in 2018, 2019, it was 58.3. But again, each one of these bars represent a cohort of learners who are Indigenous, and what we want to see is that upward trend. And so we feel very confident and very positive with the strategic plan in the work that we're doing with all of our goals, and a focus on Indigenous ways of knowing that we're going to see that trend continue. Next slide, Jason. So here, this is the 6-year completion rate of our diverse needs and our learners there. And again, you've got 2016, we're moving upward. If you look at the next slide, you'll see the 5th year, again, we've had a great jump of 10% from 2019 to 2020 in our graduation rates of our diverse learners. So again, a nice trend upwards. And I do certainly attribute a lot of that work to our culture of care in our strategic plan. And it just really gives you a bit of a snapshot of how we're doing overall. So it's great news, and we certainly want that great news to continue. And I think that the work that we've done as a board and within the school district around strategic plan, we have focused our efforts on a number of priorities that will continue to see that upward trend. And so just a brief touch point on this information. It came to us from the ministry about 3 weeks ago, and we will have further information in detail in the near coming months when we really look at how we're focusing on all of our priorities. So any questions before I move on? Okay, then I will move on to 8.2.2. In your package, you will have a schedule of winter events. And so, you know, there has been a bit of some virtual events, and there's some different things that are occurring. But certainly I would encourage all of our trustees to reach out to the schools, reach out to the principals, find out when their event is. You can see there's a bit of a schedule, but some have some virtual opportunities. And I know that they would welcome you to actually participate. Now, I do take note that there is a luncheon planned, and I believe it is at CVOX. So please, if you're planning on going over there for lunch, you might want to let them know you're coming so they can add another item to the lunch menu. There you go. There's one holiday luncheon. I've pointed it out now. So that will be on December the 16th at 11 a.m. So please reach out to any principals that you'd like to attend their winter events. The next one is my update as a superintendent, and so I'm going to just go through a number of things. I'd like to certainly acknowledge all the staff, and I know that our chair already did that this evening, but I know that it has been a fall, a season, lot of pivoting that needed to occur. I think that many of our staff were thinking that we were going to come into the school year and have a little bit of semblance of normal. It hasn't been the case, and we know that we hold up our community, we hold up our kids, our parents, and our families, and that's the staff at our schools who are doing that. And here at the board office, I also know that it's the infrastructure of support. And that's the pillars that are provided out there for us to continue the good work we do for our community. And so they are creating such a lovely culture, and that culture and that sense of belonging, I believe that Trustee Kemmler spoke of, because we do know that during a time of COVID, we have been able to provide learning opportunities and beautiful extracurricular activities that provide that space and place of belonging for all of our learners and our staff. Because I think that as adults, we also need that place of belonging as well. Secondly, I want to basically have a shout out to all of our non-instructional day organizers and presenters. We had an excellent speaker named Tom Hurek, and he focused his keynote on trauma-sensitive instruction, very timely. I think we're brilliant at providing timely strategic plans and timely events and keynotes, because we did organize Tom about a year ago to come and speak about this topic. And so He was very appealing, very engaging. And then afterwards, there were so many selections and workshops that were available to staff that you might have had too many choices. It might have been difficult to select which learning opportunity did you want to choose for the afternoon session. So a brilliant day, and shout out to all of the organizers who presented as well as coordinated the day. Not an easy day when you're looking at over 800 staff who participate. Moving on to equity in action, and I think that was also spoken about at the board's retreat. But we were joined by many partner groups. Very exciting. We also had some students from DSAC who also joined us. We had over 40 individuals who really learned about the Equity in Action project. And I know that we have to take our own steps on that. So we'll be working towards some plans around doing our own scan across the district around our equity practices. We also know that we have had the COVID-19 vaccinations for children ages 5 to 11. It has been advertised through our school district. It will happen in the community, very similar to the process for many adults. They are not being done in schools at this time. Parents need to register their children for the vaccination, and parents must also give consent for their child to be vaccinated. And so that information has been shared across all of our schools with parents who may have children from 5 to 11. Now, it's shocking, but it is so that kindergarten registration is right around the corner for next year, 2022. So it will begin as of January the 31st through February the 4th of 2022. French Immersion and Mill Bay Nature School, they will begin their registration January the 24th, and it will go until January 28th. And that is through the lottery process that has been done over the last few years. And so that's that exciting time that our new kindergartners join us to begin their registration and transition into our beautiful Cowichan Valley School District. Just to let the board know that a number of the senior team, we attended the BC Superintendent's Fall Conference. It was held virtually on November the 18th and the morning of November the 19th. The theme was Learning Organizations with Compassion and Equity, and it was followed by a number of speakers. Louise Stoll, Professor of Learning at the University College London's Institute of Education, Carolyn Roberts, faculty lecturer at Simon Fraser University, Ilsa Govan, who's a founder of Cultures Connecting. And so we had a great learning day and a half with regard to all those speakers. And so a really nice focus in the direction that we're going overall as a province, and particular in our school district. We also had the great opportunity, three of us, myself and the Associate Superintendent Cheryl Coors, District Principal of Human Resources. We were able to attend the BCPC Symposium, Insight and Opportunities, Human Resources in Education. One of the presentations that was most of interest to me was Foundations of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion in the Workplace. And we had an excellent speaker who was able to break that down and provide some excellent definitions with regard to all of those concepts. And then two more items. The senior team also were part of the Deeper Learning Dozen Opportunity of Learning. And that also included Nicole Boucher, from the principal from Quamachin, Jeff Rowan, principal from Francis Kelsey, Jen Calverley, principal from Coheman, as well as Darcy Hoff, principal of Cowichan Secondary School. So we have a number of principals who have now joined that learning opportunity where we interact, and we have excellent dialogue around the deeper learning principles of equity with 11 other school districts across North America. So that occurred on December the 3rd, the morning of. And then lastly, I've had great opportunity to go and visit Maple Bay, Quamachin, as well as Shemina Secondary in Crofton. And so I had an opportunity to visit with staff, go visit some classrooms, and really have about an hour, hour and a half at each school to have a conversation, see students in action, and just have that opportunity of joy to be with kids, the work that we do here in schools. And I have to say that listening to the story of the little hummingbird and the work that the board did at their retreat, along with their experiences of listening to young learners, as well as the heavy hearts that occur around children in care, that it really reminds us of why we're here and the work we do and how important it is. So thank you very much. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Trustee Kemmler. And looks like we're just giving you thumbs up, Superintendent. So thank you for your report. Moving to item 9, Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. I have a very brief report. It's just for information, the hours that the board office will be closed over the winter break, and I'll put that up on the screen. So just as per normal, we'll close for the 2 weeks here in the board office operations and transportations department, and central receiving will be closed for a shorter duration. And that concludes my open report.
Thank you. Moving to item 10, committees and outside organizations. The first, the highlights of the November 15th, 2021 DSAC meeting. And Trustee Kemmler.
I would like to move that the Board of Education receives the highlights of the November 15th, 2021 DSAC meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Kemmler. Is there a seconder? Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item 10.2, summary of the November 16th, 2021 Advisory Committee meeting. Trustee Croft.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education receive the summary of the November 16th, 2021 Advisory Committee meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Croft, seconded by Trustee Thorn. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to 10.3, minutes of the October 26, 2021 BBC meeting. Trustee Kemmler.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education receives the minutes of the October 26, 2021 BEBC meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Kemmler, seconded by Trustee Thorn. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to 10.4, and these are motions arising from the November 23rd, 21 BEBC meeting, and they're up on the screen. And the first is the motion around adopting the Inclusive Education Communications Plan. Trustee Kemmler?
I'd like, it's gone. I'd like to move the first one, please, that we adopt the diverse education plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Moved by Trustee Kemmler, seconded by Trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to the second motion, if you could put that back up, please. Sorry, Secretary Treasurer. And it's regarding the mental health COVID transition plan.
I would like to move that the Board of Education approves the implementation of our mental health COVID transition plan as presented.
Moved by Trustee Kemmler, seconded by Trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. And moving to the last motion, please. And this one is about the Climate Change Committee.
I would like to move that the Board of Education approves the addition of the Climate Change Committee into Policy 8 as presented.
Moved by Trustee Kemmler, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item point 10.5, minutes of the November 18th, 2021 DPAC meeting attended by Trustee Kemmler.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education receives the minutes of the November 18th, 2021 DPAC meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Kemmler, seconded by Trustee Thorn. All those in favor? Motion carries. And moving to 10.6, report from the December 4th BC STA Vista Business Meeting. And again, Trustee Kemmler.
Well, it is me, but Trustee Spilsbury, you missed it. I did it instead of Vista branch structure when I was So I apologize for being out of line order there, but it has been presented.
Okay, thank you. Moving then to upcoming meetings and events. If you could bring up the schedule, please, Mr. Sandquist, that would be great. So fortunately, there are a lot of great celebrations coming up for us. The secondary school, as well as transportation winter celebration, maintenance winter luncheon, and the winter holiday breakfast, as well as our custodian winter luncheon. So it's a wonderful schedule of holiday celebrations. Anything that people would like to comment on or ask questions about? Okay, good. Then moving to item 12, correspondence, and we received a letter from Minister Whiteside regarding our distributed learning funding letter that we sent her. Is there a mover for the motion to receive the correspondence? Moved by trustee Thorne, seconded by trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. No new business. Moving to question period. So Mr. Sandquist, if you could let me know if there are any questions or not.
Yeah, there is one question,
Okay.
and it's from Carmen Sundstrom. It's in the chat, and it is: do we actually need to bring hard hats to the CSS groundbreaking?
Well, thank you for the question, Carmen, so that I can clarify and give you a little bit of humor as well. All of the trustees were gifted a construction hat at our retreat. And trustee DeGroot has one hanging up behind her that you could see. And I just thought it would be great as we're on the land for them to bring their hats and wear them. So for our audience, no request to do so. Thank you. Any further questions?
Just monitoring, and I don't see any further questions in the chat or the questions and answer. Maybe just give it another few seconds in case anybody's typing.
Okay.
I think that there are no further questions.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by trustee DeGroot, seconded by trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries.